The council chamber thrummed with cold ambition, its obsidian walls echoing calculated fury. Fidbar's death and the underground's exposure had rattled Argob's elite, but the council saw opportunity in the chaos, a chance to tighten their grip. Councillor Veyra's voice sliced through the murmurs. The Crass are savages, incapable of reason, unfit for our world, yet their strength surpasses ours. That makes them valuable. Councillor Lethus leaned forward, his black eyes glinting. Tools, he hissed, resources to exploit. Their resilience should serve us, not defy us. Hashim, at the table's head, steepled his pale fingers, his gaze unreadable. As silence fell, his voice cut through, calm but lethal. Exactly. The Crass are assets, not equals. Our duty is to extract their worth. Nods sealed their consensus. The next day, Argobian ships descended on Crassley, vultures tearing into the jungle. Families were ripped apart, herded into labor camps, their dignity stripped as they became cogs in Argob's machine. This was no impulse, it was Hashim's design. Late in the night, Hashim rose, his robes pooling like shadow. "This is no failure," he said, leaning forward, voice steady. "It's victory." Councillor Veyra frowned. "Victory, Fidbar's dead. The underground exposed our cracks. How is this triumph?" Hashim's smile was ice. "Chaos breeds control. Fidbar's death, the underground's treachery, they've given us cause to act. The Crass are now a necessity." The chamber hushed as he continued. "Their strength, their endurance, we've plundered Crassley's resources but spared its people. No longer. Argob's fear demands stability, and they'll accept any measure to secure it." Lethus smirked. "We enslave them, cloaked as protection." "Precisely," Hashim said. "The Crass will be relocated, controlled, utilized. Resistors will share the underground's fate." Veyra's unease faded, replaced by grim approval. "And the exiles? Ayatu? Chaded?" "Let them fester on Crassley," Hashim said, smile widening. "Their survival fuels false hope, a hope we'll crush when it suits us." Among Argob's elite, Bastion played a perilous game. A financier of the underground, they masked their defiance with polished smiles, nodding at Hashim's decrees while funneling wealth to the resistance. Their resources, safe houses, tech, funds, had kept the underground alive. When Fidbar's betrayal sparked arrests, Bastion's foresight saved them. Every trace of their involvement was erased, leaving the council blind. Yet they didn't falter. Through encrypted channels and covert drops, Bastion supplied Ayatu, Chaded, and Crassley's exiles, a silent lifeline in the dark. In council halls, Bastion's every gesture was calculated, a predator among prey, awaiting the moment to strike. On Crassley, exile forged Ayatu and Chaded's resolve. Kale's loss was a wound that bled, but their fight burned fiercer. One evening, as gold light bathed the jungle, Ayatu stood at the ruin's edge, eyes fixed on the wild horizon. "They think they've won," she said, voice steady, fierce. Chaded joined her, hand on her shoulder. "They think they've silenced us." "They haven't," Ayatu said, fists clenched. "We fight for Kale, for Lyra, for all chained by the council." Chaded's nod was resolute. Not just survival, freedom. Their settlement grew, fueled by Bastion's aid. Food, tools, messages. Exiles trickled in, drawn by whispers of sanctuary. The ruins, once relics of lost, became a stronghold, a spark of rebellion in an oppressed world. Hashim's plan seemed ironclad, but fissures formed. In Crassley's labor camps, the enslaved Crass whispered defiance, their spirits unbroken. Hope flickered, a quiet rebellion. In the jungle, Ayatu's settlement thrived. One night, by a fire's glow, she addressed the exiles, her voice a clarion call. "We're not just survivors," she said, eyes alight. "We're fighters, builders. The council seeks to chain us, but Crass endure. We will rise." The exiles' nods carried a shared vow, their spirits kindled. Far off, in Argob's sterile halls, Hashim sat, oblivious to the cracks in his chains, the rebellion slipping through his grasp. Ayatu stood at the jungle's edge, her gaze piercing the horizon where Argobian ships prowled like predators. Krasley's wild chorus, cries of creatures, rustling leaves, surrounded her, but her heart burned with her people's plight. The Kras, herded into slavery, were stripped of freedom, their spirits ground under Argob's heel. Her fur, once lush, hung patchy, a stark testament to Argob's cruel experiments. It sought to erase her identity, but each scar forged her stronger. Ayatu's resolve was a blade, unyielding. The jungle's earthy breath stirred her, grounding her roots. She drew Lyra close, her hand firm on her daughter's shoulder. Lyra, marked by loss, stood with quiet strength. "We'll endure," Ayatu whispered. "We'll rebuild, grow fierce. One day, we'll reclaim what's ours." Cheda joined her, his hand entwining with hers. "Together," he said, his calm resolve an anchor. Ayatu's eyes blazed. Krasley's vast wilds were daunting, but her fight, for family, for Kras, was unshakable. Weeks of toil transformed the ruins, cleared paths, reinforced walls, and the hum of life revived the ancient stones. Ayatu's settlement was no mere refuge, it was a community, a spark of hope. One humid afternoon as Ayatu guided repairs, a scout raced to her, eyes wide. "Leader, Kras refugees at the jungle's edge, a man among them, Debray." Ayatu froze, the name a thunderbolt. Her pulse surged, hope, fear, disbelief. Her father? She hastened through the jungle, vines brushing her as the ruins faded behind. At the clearing she halted. Amid weary Kras stood Debray, his once robust frame gaunt, fur-grayed. Yet his presence commanded, eyes sharp with life. "Father," Ayatu breathed, voice trembling. Debray turned, his gaze locking on hers. Recognition broke across his face, and Ayatu ran, tears falling as she embraced him. "My daughter," Debray choked, holding her tight. "I thought you were gone." "I thought the same," Ayatu sobbed, clinging to him. They parted, and Debray's eyes traced her scarred fur, pain etching his face. "What have they done to you?" he whispered. "They tried to break me," Ayatu said, chin high. "They failed. I'm here, fighting." Debray's tears fell, his pride fierce. "You're a warrior, Ayatu, a leader beyond my dreams." She gripped his hands, smiling through tears. "For you, for our people." Back at the settlement, Ayatu introduced Lyra to Debray. The girl, healing but fragile, clung to her mother. "This is Lyra, my daughter," Ayatu said, hand protective. Debray knelt, his weathered face soft. "Hello, little one. You have your mother's fire." Lyra hesitated, then took his offered hand. "I miss my brother," she whispered. "He was killed." Debray's grief surfaced, and he drew her into a gentle embrace. "I know, child. We'll honor him, together." Lyra's arms encircled him, a spark of hope in her eyes. Ayatu's heart warmed, seeing her daughter's trust. Debray turned to Ayatu, voice heavy. "Who took your son?" "A madman," Ayatu said, voice cold. "I ended him. Then I forgave him." "Forgave?" Debray's brow furrowed. "Hate broke him, fuels the council," Ayatu said, resolute. "I won't let it consume me. The council didn't care about Kale. They banished us to silence us. He was their pawn." Debray's fists clenched. "They'll pay. With hope, not hate," Ayatu said. "That's our strength." The settlement flourished, drawing exiles with whispers of sanctuary. Under Ayatu's guidance, it became a symbol of defiance. One evening, atop a sturdy platform, Ayatu addressed a growing crowd, her voice a clarion. "We've been crushed, broken," she said, eyes sweeping the Kras. "But we're not defeated. We're not tools. We're Kras. We endure." Murmurs of assent rose, spirits kindling. "This settlement isn't just refuge," she continued. "It's our defiance, our hope. The Argob think us silenced. They've made us fear." Cheda stepped forward, voice steady. "We rise. For our children, for freedom." The crowd's resolve solidified, a flame in Krasley's wild heart. The jungle ruins pulsed with life, their ancient stones now a cradle of hope. Where decay once reigned, exiles, refugees, and underground allies toiled together, forging shelters, clearing vines, and raising walls. Hammer strikes, laughter, and voices of resilience filled Krasley's wild air. Ayatu stood atop a sturdy platform, her gaze sweeping the gathered crowd. Their faces, scarred by loss yet alight with defiance, stirred pride in her chest. She raised a hand, and silence fell, every eye on her. "These ruins were our past," she said, voice clear, resonant. "A shadow of what we lost. Today they become our future, a bastion of strength, of hope." Her eyes blazed, gesturing to the vibrant settlement. "We name this place Dawa, not just a city, but a sanctuary, for Kras, for hybrids, for all who seek freedom." Cheers erupted, a tide of resolve crashing through the jungle. Ayatu stood tall, the crowd's hope a fire in her soul. Dawa was real, a vow that the Kras would reclaim their destiny. Dibre, village elder, and Ayatu's father stepped forward, his weathered frame commanding. His graying fur and sharp eyes bore a lifetime's struggle, yet his voice rang with conviction. "For too long the Argob chained us," he began, words steady. "They stole our land, our dignity, our freedom. Their lies bound us. No more." The crowd's murmurs grew, a shared defiance. "Ayatu has shown us we can resist," Dibre said, voice rising. "We can build a home where our children thrive, fearless. Dawa will be our pride." He thrust a fist skyward. "For Dawa! For freedom!" The roar that followed united villagers, exiles, and rebels. Dibre's words, paired with Ayatu's vision, cemented their allegiance. Whispers of Dawa spread, drawing outcasts from Krasley's depths, a beacon against Agobian chains. That evening, as Dawa hummed with purpose, Ayatu stole a quiet moment on a stone wall, the jungle's horizon aglow. Dibre sat beside her, his presence a steady comfort. She smirked, glancing at him. "Your first thinning, father?" Dibre chuckled, patting his graying coat. "Nonsense, strong as ever." "Really?" Ayatu teased, eyes dancing. "That bald patch says otherwise. You'll be smooth as Chaded soon." His deep laugh echoed, drawing curious glances. "Cheeky as always," he said, then arched a brow. "And you? Think you'll keep that patchy fur? Running Dawa?" Ayatu's grin turned sly. "Didn't I warn you? The anti-radiation meds we take here, they cause hair loss. You'll be bald by spring." Debre's eyes narrowed. Then he roared with laughter, wiping a tear. "You're awful, Ayatu. But if baldness is Dawa's price, I'll pay it. This place is worth everything." Her teasing softened to warmth. "Thank you, father, for believing in me. In us." Debre's hand rested on her shoulder, firm. "You've given us hope, Ayatu. That's worth more than all Krasley's jungles." As sunset bathed Dawa in gold, Ayatu stood on the highest platform, overlooking the thriving settlement. Fires flickered, voices rose in song, and the ruins pulsed with life. Chaded, Lyra, and Debre stood beside her, their presence her anchor. "This is just the beginning," Ayatu said, voice quiet but fierce. Chadid's hand found hers, warm and steady. "We'll make it extraordinary." Lyra tugged Ayatu's sleeve, eyes wide. "Mama, would Kayolev like Dawa?" Ayatu knelt, brushing Lyra's hair back. "He'd have loved it," she said softly, "and he'd be so proud of your courage." Lyra's small smile warmed Ayatu's heart. As stars pierced the sky, Ayatu rose, gaze fixed on the horizon. Dawa was more than stone and hope. It was her legacy, a testament to Kras resilience. The jungle sang, and Ayatu knew. The fight endured, but with Dawa as their heart, they'd face it. Together.